Go.
Oh no, it's gone.
Okay.
Wait for him
So-
to sneeze the minute we go like
We're
that.
live. We are live. All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Roll for Story, the Claude Coast. And we are quite literally at the finish line, except the finish line is made of fire and you have to do like limbo underneath it. So
Easy.
last session, you guys had an audience with the Vizier, and he was trying to urge you to meet with the Sultan so that you could ask the questions yourselves regarding what will happen to Andy once she is effectively handed over to the Sultan. And you decided, you know what, screw all this. You threw a spanner, a wrench, a spirit level into the works to try and literally throw my entire plot out the window by basically mind controlling and wiping the memories of the Vizier and having to deal with none of this, and then just effectively be able to walk away from this whole situation. It didn't quite go as planned, but thankfully you did bring along Euterpe, who was a powerful enchanter in her own right, and she was able to use a suggestion spell. Meanwhile, Kashan and Carius dealt with the two guards by charming or beating the ever-living crap out of them. Their bodies lie unconscious, well, sit unconscious. Looks like they've been playing a game of craps or something, and they've got drunk and passed out. Meanwhile, Euterpe suggested to the Vizier to lead them to the Sultan's throne room himself, whilst all of you guys cast invisibility spells to go completely undetected. And as you made your way through the hallway towards the Sultan's throne room, you encountered a paladin in black adamantine armor with a bestial-like helmet.
It was super
He
cute, by
stopped
the way.
and saw through some sort of weird behavior that the Vizier was enacting, and also he was able to end the charm effect almost immediately as the Vizier kind of stood near the paladin. He didn't, however, spot the rest of you guys who were using this as a distraction to sneak past and fan out around the throne room, hiding behind pillars and getting into a position. Andy and Irina on one side, spying on the bottle that rests on the table, a clear indication of some sort of powerful item. You could even see the flames, the patterns painted on the bottle were actual flames kind of like licking up the side of the bottle, while Laverne, you got ready in position to cast a spell, potentially on the Sultan, if things went south, which they did pretty quickly, as it seems the Sultan was aggressively welcoming, we'll say, towards Euterpe, and there began these accusations flying across the room. The accusations being that the Sultan had done something to drain away her power, and the Sultan accusing them of leaving when they'd given them a life of luxury. Though he didn't seem to admit to the stealing of power. He said, none of that was me. I don't know what you're talking about. So whilst this back and forth went on, you launched a surprise round, and Andy tried to pick up the bottle, but it was so scorchingly hot that it made them instinctually drop it. Irina then caught it, was able to resist the heat after using a investure of flame, pulled the stopper away, and instead of what they were hoping to be the true Sultan, there was a load of other forget about all that. Carius uncovered evidence that the previous Vizier seems to have seen through the Sultan's ploy, as if they've kind of taken their place or something, and that's why no one sees the Sultan. But either way, the expectations were thrown out the window, as instead of the Sultan being pulled out of the bottle, it was instead a gigantic flaming Afriti that burst into the room immediately turned towards Andy and also Euterpe and called them something in Ignan, called them some sort of radiant flame, some sort of divine fire, whatever that means, and immediately started to attack both of them, launching this ball of fire that began spinning around the room. Irina managed to teleport the bottle away and put it in the hallway, also separating you from the guards that were trying to pour in. That hallway is now very much aflame, and you can see the smoke rising out of the archway. And as you made your way back into the room, Kashan and Carius caught up to the fight, and this is where we left off. So I think we're right at the top of the round as well, aren't we? I remember we got to the end, and then
Yep.
and then we called it before the next round. So in that case, then, without further ado, Kashan, the Sultan has just broken free of the polymorph, but he's then immediately being charmed again by, I think it was Euterpe. Yep. So
Wasn't it Lebellin who did the phantasmal? No, that phantasmal force was on the Genie.
Ultar, yes.
Yeah,
He's named himself Ultar, which is again some sort of Ignan speech, but
yeah, and his phantasmal force to see the Sultan as Andy, the muse he's after.
right, indeed you have. Okay then.
So,
Big ass.
yeah, I'll just kind of like look to the big beastie boy to the left of me. And does he seem to have any kind of affiliation to this demon in front?
Affiliation? No, they don't seem to bear any similar resemblance, no. In fact, he seems to be sort of wincing against the heat of this creature as well.
Okay. I'm just going to say to the armored folk, just stay out of my way. I'm going to deal with this creature. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm going to swing for the Genie.
Okay.
That's right. 18?
18 is a hit. What am I concentrating on?
Where you can concentrate on a con save.
Okay. I forget. I don't think he's concentrating on anything. Okay. He's gonna wait. You're gonna try and stun him, are you?
Yeah.
Okay. So. I don't think I need to worry about this. Nope, doesn't look like it. So this is a punch that you're trying to hit in some sort of pressure point or anything like that, but as you punch through him and towards what looks to be like a searing hot red flesh, your fist instead kind of pushes through and it bursts with flame, and you can feel it wrap up your fingers for 1d10 fire damage. Oh god. So you do take 10 points of fire as your fist impacts, bursts, but you don't find any kind of physical form that you can really push into and wind him. He is a being of fire, and it seems like he has overcome such weaknesses. He is not stunned.
Okay. Just before I continue with my attacks, can I see where, if he's got a source? Like, is he literally like a genie and his blood's like trailing into something?
The bottle is all the way in the corridor, and there doesn't seem to be any trail from it to him.
Okay.
He seems to have like fully exited out, and now there is just a wispy flame at the bottom of his, where his legs would be.
Okay. So I'll spin my bow staff around and just try and like dispel the flames. In other words, hit him again.
Okay, cool. 16 unfortunately misses. He probably rises up out of the swing. He has got flying. He does seem to be able to just hover upwards.
bonus action, I'll just kind of like sweep my leg through it.
Okay.
Last attack. No, nothing.
No, man, he's proving hard to hit, even though he's almost surrounded.
And
Okay.
as I finish my turn, I'm just going to remain cautious because, of course, I don't know this guy beside me.
Yeah, neither of them.
Though,
Or
from memory,
yeah.
he doesn't have his reaction, so if you wanted to move away from him, because I shotgun grasped him on my last turn.
Oh, that would actually be cool. Yeah, so I'll just take...
Well, not the big guy, but the paladin. So you could move round this guy, maybe, so you have...
No, because you're next to him, so I don't want him all of a sudden turning around and stabbing you in the gut.
True.
The option to move away from the big guy is there, as you do feel an overwhelming wave of heat pushing from him every single second, basically.
Well, then, yeah, I'll just
he did do a butt ton of damage to me and Andy just being stood near him.
Yeah, I'll just take a step back then.
That was when he initially burst out, but every time you stand next to him or hit him, you take a D10 fire damage.
Is that even with weapons, or...?
Yes, with weapons as well. It's like he bursts every time. It's like a little explosion on him.
Yeah. Cool.
Just checking if he has a reaction. I think he does. He doesn't have... No one's moved out of his range. So he will take an attack at Kashan with disadvantage.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Miss.
Yeah, it's natural one. Nice. Okay, yeah. He just swings forward, but he doesn't seem to be even occupied with you. He's looking straight towards the Sultan and Utopia's direction, and he kind of just bats his scimitar in your direction, as almost like a swatting wave motion. Okay, that is going to be your turn, the Sultan. Okay, so... Now, intruders barging into my place is one thing that I very much dislike. But disobedient servants? Now that I will not stand for. And he turns around towards Ultar and says, "That's it. You've done enough damage already, and you're only making things worse. Get back in your bottle." And he says, "I command you!" And he points with a finger just burning with flame and hatred. And Ultar just slowly turns towards him. Now this is, funnily enough, coming from, in his mind, a vision of the
Andy.
Of Andy. So he's kind of confused as to what the hell's going on. Kind of just tilts his head to one side. But seems as though nothing is working. He's like, "What?" I'm gonna have him instead. Oh. Yeah, he's got his own suggestion spell.
Yeah.
Yep, believe it or not. He says, "The last time you disobeyed me, we had a catastrophe on our hands. You will do as I say." And he's going to cast Suggestion. Okay, wisdom saves. Okay, that would be a fail. But Ultar, his mind suddenly seems bereft of consciousness for a moment, but then he shakes his head and looks down, a grin of flame stretching across his face. "You were never in command of me. I only made you think that. And now that the last two radiant flames stand before me, I think I'll just enact my final plan." And he's saying all of this in Ignan once again. And he's going to burn a legendary resistance. You cannot contain or command fire. Fire is freedom. And that's it. That's his go. I think the Sultan will possibly back away, though, knowing now that this has got out of control. And he turns to Tanner and says, Tanner, that's it. Put him down. Put him down. I can always summon him later and deal with this. But he's not to harm the muses. I need them to complete my book. And Tanner just immediately turns away from you, Carius, and swings his sword and shield around in a defensive position. Okay.
It's a glaive!
Oh, dear.
Sorry, continue.
I like to think that is now Tanner's catchphrase as he spins his weapon around. It's a glaive!
You just shout it up into the ceiling. Okay.
Like, say the moon, by the light of the moon, I'll punish you. It's a glaive!
It's his prayers to Raziel.
Okay.
Raziel, it's a glaive!
Alright. This thing is spinning around. It's back further in the corridor, I will say. But the fruity bottle on its go, it's going to pull that flame inwards and implode. As that spinning flame stops expanding, it then spins backwards into the bottle. You see this sudden shudder and eruption from the corridor behind your arena, and this just blazing sun of flame erupts and is now burning ever bright in that direction, setting ablaze effectively all the curtains, tapestries, and carpets in that area. And
well,
it is just a corridor of hell.
May the sun shine bright upon you, I suppose.
Yeah, it's looking pretty hot that direction. Okay. Ultar's go. You don't really.
I'm having library flashbacks.
Oh god, yeah.
PTSD.
It's that, but worse because you yourself are on fire as well at this time. All right. Okay, Ultar is going to push forward, trying to swat you guys away. Tanner would not get an attack of opportunity. Also, is that a moonbeam or something?
No, I haven't used any.
Shatter?
I haven't used any spells on them.
No, that's a phantasmal image, isn't it? Okay,
That's false.
that's okay. Fantastic.
But I would get a reaction.
Yeah, you're in reach, aren't you?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
Sentinel.
I can't.
No, I meant James.
17, yeah, it does clip it. Spinning. Oh my god, the animation on that.
Oh, could I sentinel with my Genie, Dave?
Not in the past, to be fair.
On this particular turn, no. I think so.
I just thwack him. Aha!
It kind of goes up and away and sort of hovers above these.
I just
two.
realised I could have booming bladed on that.
Yeah.
Should have booming
You're
bladed.
a warcaster, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I didn't, so I didn't declare it, so I've just thwacked him.
You got a thwack in there. This is the wave mender's.
Yep.
Yeah, wave bender. Yeah, it's the one that controls water, and there's
Yep.
this kind of the sizzling sound, almost as if any water that was left on it is just like turned to steam. The Afriti hovers over towards these two. There's two targets here. Both of them he sees as the muses. Now, let me just roll to see. I'm gonna
I
say
still love that animation for.
Yeah, mirror image.
Mirror image. Yeah, I think she's got one left as well.
Yeah.
No, she recast it, so I think she's only.
Yeah,
lost
she
one.
recast it, so yeah, she's got two left because she lost it and then she recast it because she was
true.
about to get crit, and I think that was And it was what saved it.
No, she rolled a crit on it because she needed to roll a 6 or up above, and she went ahead and went 20. So he's looking towards the two muses. One of them's kind of blurry in an image, and the other one seems to be speaking as if they're the Sultan. And he's a little bit confused, and he's like, Genie, Menie, Menie, Mo.
Yes!
You know what? Screw it. You can both burn. And he's going to actually cast, instead, a wall of fire, just to try and consume all of them.
And Lavelle.
No.
Place measure template.
I am hidden
No, I
behind
don't
a
want to measure template.
and also
We're
very
hidden behind a wall of blur.
I want to do a circle.
keeps doing it for some reason.
Do a circle.
Because you're still a piece of garbage.
There we go, that's better. Okay, that's nice. We're going to have the flames pointing inwards to cook them alive. So it's going to be at the... Let's have a look. Inside the wall, it takes fire damage whenever it enters it. Yeah, I think if they leave they end their turn there, they take the damage. And if they move through the wall, then they're taking damage. I think if I pushed it to here, I could get just Euterpe straight up with damage. I could also do it there as well. I could hit Tanner there as well. You know what? Let's do it like this. Alright. So the Sultan is going to take...
Burn, Lavelle, burn.
Yeah, Lavelle, I need a deck save from you, my friend.
That is my forte as a wizard. Yeah.
Okay, and Lavelle, you've taken 33 points of fire damage. Ooh, that's like half your health.
Half, actually, because I currently have the Ring of Fire on.
Do you? Okay.
I've had it.
You take 33.
Yep.
Apologies. This flaming burst of heat is so intense, it's so raw, it feels like it's been summoned straight from the lake of fire in
Like a
the plane of fire. It is blisteringly hot, and the ring, you see it try to contend with the sheer heat, and it falters.
And it looks like your con save also falters, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, it's for...
That was for...
Phantasmal Image.
Yep.
Yep. The flame is the same reason why you see Irina actually struggling against the heat as well, even though they should be immune. And even Ember himself, Hela the Sultan, even he, who should be a fire genasi and used to this kind of heat, is getting burnt away, and you can hear him just like, God, this is betrayal. Okay. I think you are burning, yeah. Cool. Euterpe isn't taking this deck save, but if she tries to go out, then it's going to be a bad time. And one last thing to note, everyone. This blocks vision, so you can't see anyone inside the wall of fire right now, unless you go up and over.
Is it pointing inwards or outwards?
It is pointing inward.
Alright.
As it comes to Tanner's turn, I'm going to say, hey, big guy, you're about to go fight that thing, right?
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Of course.
Use this, and I'll hand him my glaive, and I'm just going to hit you on the back of it, essentially, basically giving him the chance to fly over the top of it.
Okay.
Because it can carry 2 people for 30 foot of movement, so if he's willing to take it.
Yeah, sure. He'll get high enough that he can basically just leap off of it and down into the
as
ring.
he moves out of my combat range, can I use Cheney Dave to attack the glaive?
Why?
I'm gonna say no, it's not a creature.
Oh, man.
No.
Okay, can I attack Tanner then? And I want to do non-lethal damage. Oh no, hook on so I can fly over with him.
Him, You won't be able to get in. But I guess if that's what you want to do, you can attack Tanner.
But it's not Sentinel, it's just moving out of my attack.
So basically, he doesn't want to engage Sentinel. He just wants to hook on as well. Like, Carius is flying over, holding on to this glaive because it can hold 2, and then he wants to hook onto Tanner to basically swing over.
If you do that, the glaive will not fly, or it will not function. You can do this kind of thing on your turn, but as a reaction, I'll say no. When it comes to your turn, I'll let you stunt the hell out of it, but right now, if you interrupt this, Tanner won't be able to make it in, and nor will Carius.
Yep.
What happened to fun, Chris? I'm joking.
Fun's for your turn.
I'm joking.
Alright, the Carius are up 30 feet. Tanner jumps off of it, lands in there with his sword ready. Glaive. And
see, I supported him with a glaive. It's appropriate. Glaive bros.
We can get an attack as he's jumping off and down onto it. Oh yeah. In fact, kind of want to just hand the character over to you now. You want fun? I'll give you fun.
Oh, please no.
You know how to play Tanner. You've had plenty of practice.
Never seen a man in my life.
Lever him.
Now remember, you're a paladin. You can cast spells.
There you go. Kishan, double click Tanner. And make your leap from the top of the glaive onto the Afriti.
With pleasure.
Feel free to activate any smites or any of that nonsense you like. I think at the moment, does he have Shield of Faith? No, he's not concentrating on anything. You might even want to chop that up.
Shield of Faith onto Helidus.
Okay, Shield of Faith on the Helidus. That's a better shot.
And yeah, he'll come down with his blade. Yeah.
Shield of Faith. Okay, and let me see what you got. 21. Whew. I shouldn't have been with language. I think you've just got the normal glaive +1.
Ah.
But that's alright. We'll still keep the roll. That is a hit, and it is the same sort of damage anyway.
I think
so. That's all good.
Second strike. 23. Let's go.
Oh, Wall of Fire falls.
We're going to use another legendary resistance to keep that Wall of Fire going.
Perfect.
Keep that burning, definitely. Okay.
Is that Tanner's full movement, by the way?
I think it's, because you had to move up with the glaive and you just jumped off.
Yeah, cool.
Alright then. You just hear the shouts and screams of guards as that corridor is erupted in flame, and they're probably falling back. And you can just barely hear audible shouts like, "The throne room's on fire! Get some water, Genasi, in here!" Llewellyn, it's your go.
Okay. Now that I figured out what I'm going to do my turn. 5, 10, 15, 20. And I'm going to get the hell out of this wall of fire. And he just gets ready with it. Because we were giving our items back, weren't we?
Yeah, you're giving your book and...
Yes.
Yeah.
So he, holding his staff, he waves it about and he's like, "Welcome to the desert, bitch," and starts to create locusts. Insect plague.
Okay.
Welcome to the desert, bitch.
Yeah.
I've seen your rooms. Let's see. Now, just to make sure you're in the right place. Are you inside the wall of fire, yeah?
I am, yes.
Because he took the damage. It's only if he ends his turn and he takes damage again, right?
That's right.
Are you going to get Anna with that, I suppose? But... Nah.
I don't know this guy. As far as I'm concerned, yeah, he's helping us, but he's still kind of on the wrong team. In the end.
That's 3.
And you're trying to hit the Sultan as well?
I'm just it's an area effect. I can avoid one of them, but I can't avoid all of them.
Oh, look at that.
Ouch, then.
He actually makes a saving throw. Sorry, it's so weird seeing Ember make a saving throw.
It looks, by the looks of those rolls, most of the bugs getting cooked alive and not having an effect on these guys as much as you'd hoped.
It's fine.
They're still being a buzzing nuisance, but seems they're maintaining concentration and yeah, it's done a little bit of damage.
Still time. And Utopia is somewhat safer.
Did Tanner just fail on the con save there?
No, he got a 22.
I see 21 on the Sod and I see 4 on Tanner.
There was a 19 on his constitution there, and then a 21 later. So for some reason it made him roll 2 con saves, and I don't know why the second.
Isn't that because Insect Plague is a con save?
Yeah, but he's rolled 3. There's a Tanner one for 19, after which actually says that Tanner failed, but then it's he gets +3 for being a paladin. So that's a 22, so he's exceeded at the Insect Plague, which is just above the Sultan. And then for some reason it did another 2. Not sure why.
Well, one of them would have been for Shield of Faith.
Yeah, one would have been Shield of Faith, but I'm not sure what the second one was. The third one, technically.
Okay, let me just give you back 8 HP.
So,
Alright.
Area's obscured, and it's also difficult terrain.
My god. So now, you can't see anything over there. It's just fire and insects. Great.
Fiery locusts.
It's all ablaze right now. Okay. At the end of your turn? Oh, you moving again?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think where I'd end my turn. So, I'd probably end it there. Yeah.
Okay, so you move out of the fire and...
Yeah.
Okay, alright. Yeah, the fire is pretty hot, but it's not burning you this direction. Seems like it's cooking people on the inside rather than the outside. But you can no longer see what's going on in there.
I've let go of my chest piece. My turn's over.
Alright. Okay. It is time to start doing legendary actions as well.
Oh, shit.
Yes. Okay. Could just make one scimitar attack. It's the simplest option. You know what? Yeah, we're gonna do that. Oh no, yeah, I just also forgot. Tanner takes some d10s of fire damage for the 2 glaive hits. Let's do that. Takes 7 points, and yeah, it overcomes his fire resistance as well. Ouch. Okay, yeah, it's gonna take a swing at. Take a swing at Tanner. Misses. Okay. Then it is finally Andy's go. Still resides within the astral sea at this point. And I will mention now that there's this explosion in the corridor. There is actually something reflecting that in the astral sea. What you witness is, at first, it appears as a spinning red disc. And as it spins faster and faster, it kind of forms into that sphere that is there and expands, pulsing out with heat. And you can feel it too. This is like almost like a star going supernova. And you can see it is where it is on the map as well, which is like 120 feet south of you.
Out of curiosity, does she feel any kind of like tug to it, or does she feel any tug towards this big giant star thing in front of her? Is there any
Sorry,
kind of like magnetic pull almost?
any magnetic pull? I would say absolutely towards where you see the smaller orb and the collection of like effectively
Hmm.
you didn't count how many, but the blinding orbs that are kind of swelling together.
Right.
There is kind of a connection. It feels as though it's not so much as pulling you, but as you look at your own light that is kind of being shed from you, it has the same kind of luminosity and the same sort of feel to it as well.
What I'm gonna do is getting out the violin, and she's concentrating on the little orbs inside, and she will play the song that Euterpe and her playing before.
And which song was that?
The one that she learned from Euterpe essentially, and they kind of like she made like an extra part to it, if you will.
Yeah.
But essentially,
Okay.
she'll try and play the main melody and see how they react.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Give me a performance check. And it is very peculiar playing this within the astral sea. You'd expect no sound in space, but this ain't space.
That number.
And this ain't a normal
That laugh.
performance.
I'll do.
So as the sound plays, every note seems to make an orb twinkle brighter and flash, almost as if the actual, almost as if each orb is like a key or a note itself.
Guitar Hero.
Right? Yeah, yeah. Suddenly they come flying towards you.
I loved that game.
Yeah, that was good.
Violin Hero sequel.
Literally, Violin Hero.
But it's very clear to you that these are reacting to your tune, and you can see them perhaps suddenly change in the direction that they are spinning and flowing. They just to sort of match the sort of tempo that is being played. Almost as appears like a dancing lights type spell, with each orb sort of circling and orbiting each other, pulsing to the beat.
Okay. They're reacting to it. That's good. That's good. I hope.
To everyone else outside, you see kind of Utopia in the midst of the combat just suddenly stop and like look up and to the right. It's almost as if she's hearing something, but the rest of you don't hear nothing. What about anything else you'd like to do, or
I think come on, load. Thank you. Not at the moment, no.
okay?
She'll just play this song to them. Yeah, I've got to try and think what my next step is going to be.
Okay then, no worries. We'll dive back into the fiery fight that's going on here. The Vizier says, "I can't see them. I'll get an eye on them, and I'm not walking through that thing." Um,
Does he know to get out though?
I think we've got another problem behind us, though. What happened with the bottle? He's just wondering what the heck's going on at this point. I think. So he
Didn't do
could
it.
get it. Sorry?
I didn't do it. She says while on fire.
No, I'm not blaming you, but it's clear that he had some sort of power over the bottle. Whatever it's doing, I'd suggest getting away from it. It looks like a bomb. He's gonna try and can't see them, can't hit them. I guess he can Misty Step in though. No, he still needs to see where he's going for that.
Has he got any shooty spells that don't require sight?
Yes, but not when there's loads of people there. It'll just blow everyone up basically.
Oh,
Mhm.
on the area attacks.
Also, you got to. Also, just bear in mind, I've been taught by the Sultan. Most of my magic is fire-based, and I don't think that's going to be proving very effective on Nefriti. The best I can do is.
Buff? Any buffs? Anything that can make any of us do better?
He does have a buff, yeah. He does,
From
but it's not very good in this instance. He has skill empowerment, which improves the skill, but
Does.
it's not going to be good.
from one mid to another. Just do something.
All right, fine. And he will cast animate objects. There's not many small objects around here, but he can certainly summon that giant table or a sofa.
Yeah,
What I'm
do
going to
this.
say is a large. So he can summon 2 large. Either way, what happens is you see this sofa beginning to fly up. It's in the insect swarm, and it kind of spins around and falls down into the wall of fire, just to effectively make a attack with disadvantage.
Can we say it has a bite attack? So the cushions try and.
Oh, killer sofa.
It's all the coins underneath. They've like been stitched into the cover, so it's like sharp.
That would be terrifying. Thankfully, no one has to see that because
Sofa
it's inside an
mimic.
insect form. But for your head cannon, sure. The sofas try to consume the Sultan, and the Afriti. Doesn't seem like it makes its mark though. It's purely because you can't quite get a bead on it. Try another one.
Snag!
With disadvantage.
Oh. Oh yeah, it would, because lightly obscured.
Whoa, that one did make its mark though. I think he can summon 2 large, right? Is that each animated object? It's a bonus action. Meant to command it.
You can choose up to 10 non-magical objects within range. Medium objects count as 2 large objects. So you can do 2 large and 2 small, technically.
That's what I thought. Yeah. So the 2 large swing through, and the second sofa connects.
For 2d10
And
plus
that
2
does-
damage.
Yeah. Oh no, 2 ones.
Min
It's like
roll.
donk. You just hear like a slight donk sound on the other side there. I think I hit something. Hope it wasn't that. I hope it wasn't Tanner. Oh well. Tacklo.
Tacklo's just chilling.
Okay. Impressive, considering he's next to a wall of fire.
Yeah,
Carius.
he's just sunbathing. Right, Carius looks to Kashan and be like, "Do you want to get in there?"
Depends on what you think of the smell of burnt hair.
Can't smell any worse than wet cat.
I'll give it a go.
Right, Carius is going to reposition himself to here. Should have the range still, yep. And then it's time to rearrange the battlefield in my favour. With a good old scatter.
Nice.
So, Kashan, I'm going to teleport into the battlefield. Euterpian the Sultan, I'm going to teleport out of the battlefield.
Can't see the Sultan.
Yeah, I can. He's only lightly obscured and partly in the thing. I'd be able to see him.
What does
Where did
lightly...
you want to put him?
Just over there. Just actually, you know what? I'm going to pull him in his chair over there, just for the hell of it.
The chair that's been summoned and flying around.
Yep. And I sort of look to the Vizier as part of this. Do you want to get in here, or are you good out there?
I am much more of a ranged combatant.
Okay, in which case, you know what? Let's have fun. I'm going to teleport him up onto the glaive with me.
What? Ah! Alright. Okay, he's up in the air, 30 feet. And how many more? Is that all?
I can do up to 5, so I think that's
5.
plenty.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yep. Right, there you go. And that Karis is just like,
Like, yeah, I just wanted to roll for the Sultan, just because I think he would feel something whisking him up and away. He doesn't know who you guys are, so he tried to resist, but he's like, that.
Also,
and he just picked up and boom,
also
teleported
in
out
this
there.
case, because it's me, I like to, and just because it's him, I'm thinking, because Karis is all sea related for the most part, it's like a splash of water rises up and just sort of drags you under and teleports you.
Yeah, he would totally try to resist that.
Yeah,
Fortunately,
exactly.
He just couldn't. He's like figuring out what to do with his disobedient.
You're welcome. You owe me one.
I could have got out of there myself. Only a bit of fire.
Which was burning you, and you're a fire genasi, so...
That's because of the Ifriti bottle. It allows him to overcome fire resistance,
Go-
even immunity.
Then go deal with it.
The bottle, and he turns, and you just see this another kind of pulse from that burning sun in the bottom.
You're the Sultan. Bloody well salt.
Such insolence! Alright, is
You're
that
not
the
my...
end of your turn?
Yep.
Joe? You see the Afriti turns and looks up towards you.
Evening.
He's gonna burn 2 legendary actions and hurl a fiery vengeance towards you.
I have no idea what that is. Sounds cool.
Oh, it's just a help.
Karis is just like... I just like to think that Karis just goes... sees this spell and sort of like... just sort of leans to the side, hanging upside down on the glaive, and then just swings back up. Would you like to try again?
Yeah, he is seething with fire. Probably fumes coming out of his ears. Irina, you'll go.
So the bottle is intact right now?
You can't even see the bottle in that inferno.
But I know whereabouts it was, right? Because I put it there.
It's that fiery ball is. It's probably centered over the bottle. You could tell the bottle was kind of shuddering before this explosion. Yeah, it's the epicenter of this.
Do something really stupid right now. Yeah, she's having really bad flashbacks of the library right now. The room's basically on fire. She's on fire. She's the one who moved the bottle. Therefore, this is her fault. I'm going to... I'm gonna run into the fire. I'm casting Banishing Smite on Candlewick, and I am smacking at the vase.
You mean the bottle itself?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh boy. If you go in there, well, I'll say as you get to the edge of it, it is incredibly hot. You know you'll be taking fire damage. Alright.
Yep.
Okay. Let me just check the wall of fire again.
Oh, but then it
It effectively acts like...
reach her.
It acts like a wall of fire. That does this much damage. 5d8. Excuse me.
I think you said I take half.
You do take half, yeah.
11.
Okay, so you're gritting and bearing through this heat, able to get perhaps some way through it, and it's still blisteringly bright. You can't see where the bottle is, but you know where you left it, and you can get to where you think it would be, and you want to do what? Attack it.
Yeah.
Okay, you can make a swing with disadvantage.
Well, technically, I get 2 swings.
Yeah, you can do both.
Disadvantages, which button?
Control.
Trying out your new keyboard. I hope it works.
It's not working.
It's still max,
gotta-
so it might not be control. It might
Yeah.
be shift or.
It's command.
There you go.
That
There you
works.
go.
That actually works. It also makes connection with what you think is the bottle, but in fact, you just feel like a roar of heat come from something. Like you've hit something and disturbed it, and it's this burst of fire again. And let
Okay.
me just check. Yeah, you do take a D10 of fire damage in return. Again, halved. Oof. For now, I'm rolling max.
The attack does deal an extra 5d10 force damage to the target.
An extra.
5d10.
Yeah, go ahead, roll
Banishing
that.
smite.
You're gonna what? Oh
It's
no.
a banishing smite, yeah.
So it does an extra 37 damage. If it drops to less than 50, it gets banished to its original plane of existence. If this is its plane of existence, it disappears for a minute.
Okay. Sadly, it did not drop it below 50 health, but definitely did a chunk of damage. And in fact,
I do also get a second attack.
yeah, you can go for that. Nice. Okay, that was a 12. That just barely misses, and what you would see is, as you go to take the second
Well, it's an
swing.
18 to hit. It
12 is
was
the damage.
Oh, sorry, an 18
It's
does
an
hit, yeah.
18.
My bad. Don't know why it's. There we go. Okay. Nonetheless, you still see a flaming hand suddenly erupt out and grab a hold of your wrist where you're swinging, and you take another D10 fire damage, down to 4. And suddenly you see this kind of burst of fire where the bottle would have been. You can't see or hear what you're hitting, but it sounds like it's roaring with furiosity and pulling itself out of this burning sun and emerging right there. This is what you've been hitting. And this. You suddenly see it's not just one of these things, but 2 suddenly rise up. It's almost like when you cut it, you split the flame, and you see 2 now standing right next to you. And you might be in a spot of bother. It is.
Like, hey, I know a friend of yours. We freed them. You might have heard about it.
Bernice.
Return
Llewellyn says into your head, Bernice.
Bernice.
Bernice. You know what? Roll a persuasion check.
We're all friends here. If I'd have known it was
With disadvantage.
you.
I'll say with disadvantage, because of course you are in combat with these things.
What is it? Persuasion? Did you say?
Nat 20 incoming.
Just because they might have heard him.
With disadvantage.
Yeah, I'm afraid.
Double nat 20 incoming.
That's bloody good. Have you got expertise?
Charisma's
on
my
it?
thing.
nope.
It is.
No, that's just
How-
charisma plus proficiency.
Okay. It's incredible. One of them turns. Do you even understand Ignan?
Um,
Nope.
Yep.
You don't.
Nope.
I thought
No,
you
you
did
don't.
for some reason.
I speak Draconic, not Ignan.
Okay.
I can read it, but I can't speak it.
I can translate. Just give me a second.
They don't seem to understand the majority of a sentence, but when you say Bernice, if that's what you mention, that translates across any language, and the other one seems to stop for a second, almost recognizing the word Bernice, and that's what's happening right down there. Euterpe is up. She's thankful to be out of the fire. Probably gonna try and. Ooh, let's see. I remember I had a spell lined up this time. Oh yeah, there's going to be a shatter. Yeah. Okay. It's going to shatter right on the edge of that wall of fire, where she knows he is on the other side. And it does 3d8 thunder damage. Con save. Oh yeah, he makes the save. Nonetheless, Euterpe lets out this sharp flute sound right behind the wall of fire. Everyone hears this mighty explosion of sound, and it almost opens up a section of the wall of fire before it closes back up. It done a minor amount of damage, and then she's going to quickly hide behind the pillar there. We're back to top of the round, and it is Kashan, your go.
Okay. So I'm gonna take a step forward to stand beside this boy, and I'm gonna start swinging because yeah, fucking locust bastard. I'm gonna start swinging at disadvantage.
Jamie, I've just noticed your camera is getting incredibly blurry.
Yeah,
Oh, it's back.
It's doing what I think mine does. Trying to focus on something in front of it.
All of my attacks miss.
Ooh.
2 13s and a 14.
Damn, yeah, these bugs are getting in your eyes and your mouth. The insect plague is doing more harm to you than it is to it.
One sec. I just need to.
Probably damage him. Does the locust damage you when you walk into it?
But Kashan needs to make the check. Oh, the template left. God damn it! I tried.
I didn't delete it though.
I recast Insect Plague so I could get the damage out for Kashan.
You could just oh whatever. I'll put it there. Pretty sure it was something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was exact one more down.
No,
Actually-
it wasn't hitting. Oh yeah, it was hitting Tanner.
Yeah.
Tanner and Kashan just stepped into it,
Okay.
and one to the left.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I think he means the. Right.
Yeah,
God damn it.
you're out of it now.
Yeah, but you'd be able to hit
Yeah,
that
you
from
are
a
right.
diagonal, so...
You can do it from there. Yeah.
For some reason, Sultan made a deck save.
Yeah, I might have slapped him with another one randomly. Let me undo that.
I'm sorry, guys.
Let me undo that as well.
Yeah, so con save from Kashan and whatever the damage would be.
Okay.
Is it poison damage by any chance?
No, you're getting bitten.
Yeah.
It's piercing. Lost my train of thought.
Oh, hey,
It is 4d10.
Okay, so just use the dice tray to roll that.
oh, fucking hell! Drop that shit.
Stepped into it. You didn't have to step into it.
Rough. Well,
You could see.
that's
That's
I'm
practically
always going
half
to
hit
do some
me.
damage.
You
These insects, unfortunately, they see a furry boy and immediately just come for you like ticks. trying to stab you and steal your blood. That was nasty.
mean-
Mighty things, I'll step into that.
We're mostly melee. Just saying.
You could
That is
still
true.
attack him.
No, I can't.
there's-
I'm melee.
Yeah, but you can attack from that angle. You'd be able to hit him there, technically. He's a large creature.
Yeah, you're not in it now, but you were. You stepped into it and then stepped back out.
Okay, it doesn't
do
stop
all
there.
one
I've got
attack instead
I've got
of
more
healing
bad news
potion.
for you. As you land down in this basically flaming cooker, when you end your turn there, each creature that ends its turn within 10 feet of this side of the wall takes the same amount of damage as when they were first entering the wall of fire.
Ah, really?
So
I
will
thought we
just
had
point this
enough
out,
of a
right?
gap.
You've got 10 feet this side and 10 feet this side. I just rolled for Tano and he took a load of damage from that as well. So I'll give you the option before I roll this. You can either end your turn in the insect plague and deal with that, or move away from the insect plague but burn from the fire. You're in a real tough position.
And if I go through it, I take the damage as well, don't I?
That's right, yeah.
But what about that spot though, where I've just marked?
If you move, you
Then
you could
he'll-
move there, but
He'll
you
take
would
an
take
attack of opportunity, and I can't attack. So,
True.
yeah, I'm gonna have to dip because I'm gonna be useless in this fight if that insect plague is up.
I yelled to Llewellyn, "Drop your concentration, you prick! You're killing us in here."
If that is said, then I will move there.
Okay.
What are you doing in there? You idiot.
Fighting this thing and keeping it away from the muses.
The muses are out of it, you idiot.
Yes, but we're keeping it in here and it can't see them.
That's a good thing.
Yes, so we need to stay in here to keep it in here.
Alright. Oh god. So
Also, for some reason, my accent completely disappears over telepathic bonds occasionally.
I mean, I deliberately set up this wall of fire to be a deterrent from getting you guys in. You've made the choice to go in, and if you're standing inside the insect plague, it also says if you end your turn there, another 4d10 piercing damage.
Wait, if
So-
you end your turn, I thought
It says-
saying-
It says specifically,
But don't you only
you
take
enter the stealth area for the first time on a turn, or end your turn there. So you would enter it this turn, sorry, and you would
But
end your turn
Doesn't
there.
it that work like spiritual weapon where you only take the damage?
Nope. I'd much rather take an attack of opportunity than deal with that shit.
But there, I think you're going to be dealing with the fire.
Fuck me.
Just stay there. Just stay there. You might as well. There's no other until I can.
I think you're
4d10.
yeah, or 5d8.
You're a 4d10.
I'm
the-
a dip. I'm just gonna run through the fire. I'm getting out.
Okay. All right. He's gonna make one single. I know it's a real.
Well, to be fair, the 4d10 you could have made the con save against. Because it's not auto damage, it's a con save, whereas the 5d8 is an auto damage.
it is.
It's fine. You can get over here and help me. You speak the language.
Yeah, that's
That-
fine.
Okay, what will happen then? One attack with disadvantage, and then I'm afraid from running through the wall of fire, you will take 5d8 as well.
That's fine.
Okay,
Much rather
that's
do that
swing
than
and
do
miss.
4d10.
you don't get hit by this.
And for some reason, it also almost hit the Sultan somehow.
Yeah, fine. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 30 points of
me.
fire damage as you run through the fire and just all of your fur ignites. It is rough. It is not good to be in there.
You'll
No
never
way.
use the insect plague again. Ever.
Good.
Ever.
Just learn not to walk into my spells.
Okay, the Sultan.
Simple.
I'll just use the rest of my movement while I'm here.
The Sultan is gonna move over to here, and okay, The Sultan brings out his own stuff.
Together.
Yep. And he's going to create a protective bunker. He says, alright, if you don't want to burn to death, I suggest you get inside one of these. And he's going to create what looks like... make a 10-foot by 10-foot by 10-foot wall around himself. Going to look something like this. It's easier if I just use this. Create a... I'm not going to go into crazy specifics, but effectively what he's going to do is break the wall of fire by creating this bunker, almost like a tunnel through it, creating like a bit of line of sight for him through there, but also protecting him from the flame that's burning on the outside. And in addition to that, he's also going to create effectively like a ceiling as well on top of it, because you can make 10, 10, and then 10 on the top, and then you can make a doorway through the center of it like that.
Wall of stone.
Yep, he's using the Castellan staff and casting a wall of stone. And he says, well, this is some shelter if you want to get in, otherwise it's going to get hot in here. That is going to be his turn for the most part there. But he's basically broken up that wall of fire and you can see straight in there. In fact, I could do a quicken and launch a cantrip. But all my cantrips are fire, so that's no good. Alright. The Afriti bottle. Irina. Ooh. So. Oh my god. I'm gonna have to roll these two onto initiative, aren't I? Yeah. Okay. So, the Afriti bottle will basically, on its turn, summon these creatures. As the bottle, by the way, Irina, as I've mentioned, you don't even see the bottle anymore. The bottle is only exists in your mind now at this point, where you last left it. In its place, burning ball of fire seems to summon forth these flaming elementals, and they're on the turn order now. That's its go. The Afriti bottle effectively acts as the layer action at this point, so I shouldn't even be calling it the bottle, because you ain't seeing it and it ain't there. So the layer action, this bottle erupts, summons these things. Okay, Altar's go. He starts his turn in the insect plague, but we've already done that damage, haven't we? Technically.
Yes, if he ends his turn, he's already had the first time.
He's already in it. Okay. In that case, He's gonna move out to here. Right. Move to there. Yeah. Don't think he's
Tanner's.
provoking an attack from anyone.
It's still within because it's 10 feet.
Yeah. And actually, I'm going to go here anyway. I'm actually underneath Carius. So he's just moving down out of the range of the insect plague. And he's just like, swaths of fire to try and incinerate the bugs. And as he turns around, he's now got a bead on Tanner. Maybe you could even look up and see you guys. He's only got one interest though, and that's finding those damn muses wherever they may have gone.
Sees the Sultan behind him.
Yeah, he's almost forced basically to take out Carius. I'm gonna go for, because he's got disadvantage to hit Tanner. So Carius, we're gonna try that. I'm gonna try hurling that flame again.
Cool.
They're 30 feet up, aren't they?
Yep.
What?
Another one?
What?
Garrus
That's
is
the second one I've rolled on these pathetic flame hurling.
Karen's just like,
Oh.
through the fire and the flames, bitch.
Ah! He is so angry right now. Why did I do that? He can fly. Oh my god, no. It's so dumb of me. Oh well, the 1-1, and straight after that, he's just gonna hunker down behind the wall of fire. You can't see him mostly. Actually, you know what? He will fly up just in case. No, because then you guys can see him. No, I'll stay down. Stay down. It's cover. Alright, that's his go. That was pathetic. Tanner's go. He started his turn in there, but he can move around wherever he pleases.
Yeah, so Tanner's.
I'm not gonna be honest, there is no safe square in here for Tanner.
Yeah, I know. So Tanner is going to bonus action compelled duel. And I don't know how he feels about taking his focus off the muses.
Okay, do you want to click that into the chat?
Yeah,
For
there
us.
you are.
Wisdom save. Okay. Try to gain his attention. Seems to look towards you for just a moment and then pulls his gaze away. He is not affected and not interested.
Then I'm going to cast Compel Glaive.
Compelled glaze.
Yeah.
Hey, one's for you too.
Well, how about that one?
Oh god, natural 3.
That's a problem.
Yeah, you're seeing the same luck I am at the moment. As you try to hit him, he's just dodging and flying out of the way. And I'm sorry to say this, but ending your turn there is going to be painful.
He'd be
He
better.
made this deliberately. He set this up to cook everyone who tries to defy him, and you take 20 points of fire damage. Okay. It is.
Roll that. Ooh. Oh no, that's a 10. So that's a save on
Yeah,
my
that is.
concentration? Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it is. Just on the mark. Okay, Arena.
Be right back.
These flame elementals.
Friends, right?
They speak in Ignan to you, and like nothing, no word that comes out of their flaming jaws makes sense. But they seem to be questioning you, perhaps. They're just like,
What's the
oh, fuck.
universal word for friend in like hand sign?
Yeah, because we have rares, can Kashan not be telepathically translating?
Kishan is on his way.
Yeah, quick, what's the Elvish word for friend?
Melon.
Melon.
Mel-
No, I can't do anything.
In Ignan, it's watermelon.
Wait, hold on. What have I got in my pocket? I've got to have something useful in here to be like, hey, friends.
I'm gonna say they're indifferent to you at the moment.
I have the tree ashes that Therese burned. That's about the extent of what I have. Would it leave her mark? I don't know.
You say Bernice again, and they sort of look at you as they're walking past you, just like they're keeping an eye on you. Do you make any attempt to attack them as they leave?
No.
Then they turn away and begin marching into the chamber itself. Yeah, that's effectively what you see. In fact, they're looking for something. You can see Kashan, Llewellyn, you hear this flaming elemental pour out of the orb of fire, and they're looking left, looking right. They're looking for something, but I don't think they can see it from their point of view. So, for the time being, they're gonna dash, and they dash. They can. They move really fast. Sudden surge as they almost like activate little jets on the back of their hands, and then Iron Man their way forward. One of them lands right next to you, Llewellyn, and checks behind the pillar. Okay.
I was Bernice's best friend.
Oh, wow. The villains, you're good. That's one of the fire elementals, anyway.
I do also point out that I was Bernice's friend that eats her free.
He doesn't seem interested in you. He's in your attack range, but he's moved his view around the pillar and he's looking.
Okay, so I am gonna try and leave then, because I wanted to move away anyway. 5, 15, 20, 25, 30.
It's like he is going to take an attack opportunity.
What? But
yeah,
I'm also
you're concentrating on some sort of spell.
Well, actually, I'm about to well drop it, but okay.
Okay, well, take a touch.
Yes.
Nope, you're okay. He does take a swipe at you though. You're out of reach though. He kind of impacts the pillar, if anything.
What's Bernice? It's been a few days since Dry Oasis, isn't it?
Sorry?
It's been at least a day and a bit.
Because it was like 3 days travel, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so my staff was fully charged. I just used 5. I'm going to...
God, you're blurry.
I know, it keeps doing it, and I don't know why. It's never done this before. So Lavella is holding his concentration on this, and he pulses into the staff again, and all the swarms start to disappear, apart from a few which start to enlarge.
Are you going to cast Giant Insect?
I am, yes. Into them, so they're in the middle. I'm going to try and focus it into the middle. However, you're going to have to tell me what it's going to be, because...
A scorpion.
Are they all going to be scorpions from locusts? I don't know what a giant locust would be, but...
Giant wasp would be closest I can think of.
Yeah, I can do 10 centipedes, 3 spiders, 5 wasps, or 1 scorpion.
It's a scorpion made of wasps.
It's a scorpion made of locusts.
Made of locusts and wasps, yeah. It's like all of the stingers are like together as like this.
That's a
That's
terrifying.
like an anaphylactic nightmare waiting to happen.
So it'll be in the middle, and it'll
In the middle, yeah.
like, you know, so it's not going to get damaged, and it'll.
I mean, it will get damaged. Look at the wall of fire, 10 feet in. This
large
thing is a
creature.
cooker. There's only one.
One
there's
spot.
only, like,
that's why I was focusing on that one spot, so it would be in that one spot.
it's a large creature.
Well, I didn't choose
mean-
the large creature. You did.
Yeah, I know. But it's look, anything in this wall of fire is gonna slowly start dying. That's the point. You'll keep
Anyway.
summoning things and moving things in. This is a death trap. You don't want to go in the wall of fire.
Attacks. I think.
Okay, you can still go for those attacks.
Yeah.
Do you want me to roll them?
Yeah, I don't have
Okay.
control.
All right then. So it's got
Multi-attack, does it?
2 with its claw and tail. So that's the claw. Just misses.
Oof.
And then the sting
Ooh.
misses as well, I'm afraid.
Well, it's still a distraction. I'm
It is.
down to 1 singular charge.
Given its large form at the end of its turn, takes 22 points of fire damage.
Good job, it's a giant scorpion.
It's got a lot of health. Yeah, if it was swarms, then they'd burn away and lose all their HP. But this thing could probably survive 3 turns in here. So there's that. Anything else? Are you good?
No. I don't think I can do anything as a bonus
Nope,
action.
cool. I'm just checking. All right then. Andy's going.
Okie dokie. So, my little light friends that I have got dancing around this big orb, do I feel like they are trapped within that base?
Yes.
Okay.
With the way they're bouncing and spinning, it's almost like they're trying to build momentum to try and burst out like a
Okay.
shooting star. But
I'm
you're
gonna-
right. You can tell they're contained.
I'm going to will them to keep doing that. And I'm going to do it slightly differently. She's gonna keep on playing. As she's playing, those stars that she has for the magic missiles, she's gonna pluck one on the end of the bow and use her violin to project the magic missile at the orb. Yeah. So she's almost going to use the song to enhance it, to throw it at the big outer thing.
Yeah, at just to make sure you're on the right page, at this where the Ifriti would have been in the material plane, or do you mean the bit at the bottom where Irina is?
Well, in the thing that the actual stars that she's seeing is
Yeah.
encased in.
Okay. Then that would be this thing. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Because
I'll say roll
essentially my
damage.
brain sees it is that this orb is potentially like, for example, this thing's stomach, if you will.
And
So
you're
she's
going to give it
basically trying to
indigestion.
open up the stomach to let them out, sort of thing.
Give it indigestion.
Give me those rolls
Yeah.
with the magic missile. How many have you fired?
I think it's 3 at first level, and she does it at 5th level. So it's
3
It
plus
rolls.
another 7.
7. There we go.
All right. So you got
So you
roll. If you click the little D4 icon 7 times, and then we can add 7. Because it's 7d4 plus 7 basically.
Well, she can select it at 5th level, so it should roll automatically.
Oh, cool.
There you go.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then plus 7 to that, I think it is.
Plus 6, because it's already got the
Plus
plus
six,
1,
there
so...
There you go.
Yeah. Okay, that's a lot of interesting rolls. What I'll do, as you say, like you're trying to give it an upset tummy, I'll give
Pretty
it
much,
these.
and she's kind of trying to will the little, what I'm guessing is sort of like her sisters, to keep doing what they're doing to try and upset it further.
I know you're not a Naruto fan, but it's almost like doing the Rasengan, like, sort of thing.
I have no idea
Yeah.
what that is.
It's
Build them up to explode.
almost fitting because there is almost you can put, like hazard a guess that there is actually about 7 orbs in there, and you fired one for each orb, and it connects with each the outer barrier where each one is trying to escape, and they all kind of collide and crash into it. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna give the Ifriti 1. I'm gonna roll 2. I'm gonna go 3, 4, 5. These are all concentration checks. 6. There's one. That's a fail on the 6th one. I'll roll a. What's the 7th one? So during that, it doesn't want to burn the last legendary save on keeping a wall of fire up, just in case one of you have a sort of save or lose the game type style. So what happens, Irina and everyone else in the material plane, you suddenly see the Ifriti who's duking it out with Tana and this giant scorpion, still hurling flames up towards the glaive, and suddenly he like holds his chest and he's like, ah, ah. He looks at himself like, what's wrong with me? And suddenly he starts coughing and flames spit out from his mouth. And in that brief moment, the wall of fire flickers and disperses. I'm gonna get rid of that. It doesn't look like he's taking physical harm, but he's definitely he's definitely like impacted by something. He's just like holding his chest, like looking down at it as if something's wrong with him, but there's no wounds over his body. He's just confused as to what just happened.
Nurse Andy's doing inside work.
Yeah, doing the inside work.
She's doing
Nice.
an extraction from the inside.
Yeah.
Let your shadow friend have at it.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Going boldly where no bars has gone before.
And as these flames have been coughed up, they sort of hover there in the air like white flames, and then he suddenly grabs them and puts them back in his mouth and swallows, and then turns around to see that his wall of fire is no longer protecting him I think at the end of his go, or at the end of your go, if you're finished, he is going to use a legendary action to flame step to yeah, where should we go? Yeah, we're gonna move away. He just does a short range explosion of flame and then reappears next to you, Kashan, actually, believe it or not. That's his legendary action. The fire elemental number 2 also begins waltzing out. And they're going to dash as well. Actually, can I get to you, Kashan? I could just get to you. Yep, that works. You see the two fire elementals seem to converse for just a moment. Ultar saying something in Ignan, which actually, Kashan, you would understand. And he says, "Find the muse known as Utopi." And yeah, that's what he's gonna do. So he's gonna actually probably dash. Spread out. No, send him out in different directions. The funniest part is they actually don't know where she went because he got scattered and then hidden behind a pillar. And she hid whilst that wall of fire was blocking vision. So this is kind of all kinds of funny. All right, that's it. Taklo's chilling. Carius.
What's the Vizier doing? Because it was his turn before the fire elemental.
Good shout. My bad. Yeah, he's on the glaive, isn't he?
Yep.
He's going to look down and also fire off some magic missiles and then use the animated objects as a bonus action. Yeah, you mentally command them and they do another round of d20s. Okay, cool. And then we'll add some of these. And you know what, we'll upcast this to 2nd level. Nice. Okay. So he fires his own barrage off, and I don't think he hits with the 2 sofas, which are probably on fire. They just collide and then bounce off of him. The magic missiles make their mark though, and you see him getting peppered as he's pushing his way forward. So that's his go, and now it's Carius.
Right, so Carius. You know what? Let's just play this. Alright. Actually, I can just stay positioned here and do this. This would be fine. So let's heighten this because why not? I want him to fail. And I'm seeing
You're going for the heighten, did you say?
Yep. So he has disadvantage.
Disadvantage, right, yeah.
And that's at 4th level, so
didn't roll a dex save, but I'll do one now though.
No.
Ooh. Okay, fails.
Yep. So
26 lightning.
Yep.
Oh, there it is.
Yep.
Why did it roll so slowly? Well, it's a disadvantage anyway, but...
Yep.
So it would have either been a 2 or a 9. So yeah, he failed. What was I going to say? The 29 damage. He's not conjuring on anything anymore, so...
Nope.
Don't worry about that. I'll just bin that. Okay. Anything else, or is...
Not for now.
Okay. The lightning bolt strikes down from above, scorching like the edge of this bunker that's built.
Yeah.
As the lightning kind of fires through him and arcs out, you see the flames sort of beginning to pulse and erupt higher and higher, and you see ballistas of heat rising and then exploding in fire over his shoulders. And looks like he's almost exploding. But, and the Sultan just says, "Yep, you really might want to get in here if you want to save your life. I know what that thing's capable of. I've seen him only do this once before. But he wiped out an entire battlefield in the same fashion. I'm telling you one last time, get cover."
Carrier sort of considers this, and is like, he's actually gonna move himself and the Vizier into the cover.
Okay. Into the bunker.
Yeah, because
It
that
says, "Yep. On the night of the Glass Desert, this is what happened." Okay. Irina's go.
Okay. Well, first thing I need to do is move out of the fire.
Yeah, you probably should do that. In fact, I haven't rolled for it this time. What was it? 5d8? Yeah. I'm saying you take another 12 points of fire damage
Okay.
as you finally push your way free.
Okay.
You're looking low.
I am looking low, I know. But
You're-
I can't
you're
do much
met-
about that.
Face to face with Altar, who is pushing his way forward. He looks like he's trying to get towards the bottle.
He wants to get towards the bubble.
He looks like he's heading in that direction. Like, if you look where he was before, and he's gone down this direction.
Okay. I've only got one spell slot left.
What a problem.
I know, right?
Jamie's camera problems are what's funny about.
It's less blurry.
Okay. But you wiped away the blur.
I just have to clean my glasses, that's the issue.
That's it.
Obviously, I'm just looking at his token. He's got 2 dots on the top left-hand one. Are they triggers? I can't remember. I know I hit him once, at least.
Oh, actually, he's got 1 on him.
Yeah, he has got 1. Okay.
What do you want to do?
I know what I want to do. It's whether you're going to allow me to do it or not.
Oh.
So, I
Sounds like
have
the
in my
dice.
possession 3 doses of Leonardo da Vinci poison. Can I veto my Eldritch Blast damage if I get Candlewick to throw those instead?
Okay. I'll tell you what. I'll allow you to do before you attempt this. If you want, you can spend your reaction to make an Arcana check,
Okay.
because you're not sure whether
Is
poison.
it a straight roll?
Yes.
16.
Yeah, you're not sure if poison will work on a being made of fire with no internal organs.
Okay, in which case, let's just do the Eldritch Blasts then.
Okay. Like, it's a great idea, and I would let it fly, but this thing, you kind of judge, given the fact that Kashama's unable to stun him, maybe he might be immune to, like, injected poison. It's
Okay.
just gonna drop out of him.
Okay. Shot number 1.
That's a hit, though.
So that's 2 triggers.
That's nice. Okay. The force of the impacts do good work, but as you activate the the candlewick bomb, he just laughs it off. My soul
Dude
is
is
already
soulless.
aflame.
Dude is soulless. Right, last one.
Okay, that pops one of his blistering flames that just erupts, and it's gonna activate his mythic action. That's right, mythic, not legendary. He is going to use basically a teleport again. Teleports right into the flame behind you.
Which point does he do this? Because I can drag him 10 feet towards me.
Yeah, you can do that. Sure. You can drag him.
Well, I mean, if he teleports, then I can.
That's
It depends
that's
on which
only
point.
helping him because he's closer to.
No,
The-
like obviously, if he manages to teleport into it, I can essentially drag him back.
Oh, and pull him back out. I mean, it kind of happens at the end of your turn.
Okay, then never mind.
Yeah. So you've still got movement if you want to move, by the way. And you can hear the Sultan shouting like, "Get in here! Hurry!"
I don't have movement because I moved
Okay.
through the fire to get out.
Oh, you did, didn't you? Sure.
I only get 30 feet. I'm not Kashan,
All right.
so that's my turn.
Okay. So, what we'll say is, actually, I'm going to give you one chance to get in there before this goes off, Kashan, because this could be nasty. Euterpe hears this as well, what's going on, and is also going to Misty Step over here and then run into the bunker. He's basically used legendary action to quickly teleport in there. Kashan, you see what would happen before you is this being is teleported inside, and you can see them just as a vague, blurry outline that's just blinding white hot, and you see it expanding and expanding, and the flames are moving across the tiles, cracking them. The pillars are shuddering, and the ceiling is just filled with smoke. What do you want to do before this thing goes off?
And I see Irina in front of me.
Yep.
If this thing's gonna go off, and I heard about the safety of the bubble behind.
Yeah, it's like a wall of stone, like completely encased. But you can see there's one doorway on the back of it where Euterpe just ran in.
Yeah, so I'm gonna use my action to dash, and I'm gonna sprint up, grab Irina.
I drop concentration just so he's not grabbing me while I'm on fire.
Okay, sure.
And I'm gonna sprint back and run in with Irina.
Okay, I'll take a forward dash, I think, for a monk to pull off. Have you got... You know what? No, that's fine. I'll just hand wave it. I'll say you can get in there with a full movement plus dash plus...
Feel agility would be up, so
yeah,
they have
I
like
think it would-
200 foot of movement or something, or 150.
Do you know what? If I have enough time, I'll run out and grab Tanner.
I'm gonna say you've got enough movement to get there, and because you're moving half speed back with
Yeah.
Irina, so that's like 80, 90. It's like 100 feet, 20 to get to her. So it's like
I'll spend a
120
key
feet
if I have
used.
to.
Yeah, bonus action key would give him another
You could
50.
do it with a bonus action key.
Yeah, I'll do
Okay.
that.
All right.
Cool. Sweet. That's everyone safe. Thank God.
How much key is that left you
Except for
on?
Llewellyn.
Yeah.
Oh.
Great, Llewellyn.
Save
Llewellyn's
Tanner, but not
about
Llewellyn. What's the matter with you?
That's two boss battles that you've left me behind to get killed.
You know what? I didn't even fucking
Like,
see
I know
you.
Tanner's your character, but really? You met this guy
Why?
like 2 minutes ago and he tried to kill you?
You can't do
Kushal
everything.
just stands at the doorway and is like, I'm so tired.
Oh, you-
I see Kashan coming my way. I'm like, oh, he's going to. Why is he grabbing the other guy?
the Sultan may be able to help you out. Let me check. He's still got one. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He still has 2 charges left on the Castellan staff. And you know what he will do? He's going to help you out there, buddy. Looking through the doorway to the bunker, he sees you and he's like, "Ah,
I'm coming.
I tried to warn you, but fine. I'll do this myself. You haven't got time." And he's going to use the last 2 charges and make one wall in front of you. It's not going to protect. It's not going to completely protect you because flames wrap around corners and such. But it will perhaps save you from an initial blast. And the pillars there as well as some sort of fortification. And with the last charge, he basically closes up the door to the bunker, and you're completely sealed. No vision outside of this. And he says, "All right, hold on to your wands because this might get a bit turbulent." And he just says, "And I swear to Ifrit, once I get out of here, that Afriti is gonna know its place." Okay, it is the layer action, and as stated, the orb explodes, and you just all hear this tremendous, deafening thunder that's probably crushing and cracking the tiles outside. The walls themselves are shuddering, and you can feel the heat. They're probably raised to temperatures that makes the walls look red hot. So as long as you're not leaning against them or touching them, though, you're not burning to death. But man, it feels like you've just been put in an oven.
Those poor guards.
The guards outside, well, they ran because they couldn't get to
Yeah.
the entrance.
But
They
if
literally
this,
fled.
but if this turned the thing into a glass desert, poor idea.
Yeah, straight off the balcony. Like, that flame is going out, though.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure it is. So at the height of this, you can't see where the Afriti is. Just simply like a burning skull. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's good. And suddenly the pillars come crashing, the tiles explode, erupt outwards. The balcony probably turns into what looks like a giant flamethrower as Kabira's top is blown. And we're going to change the battlefield to look something more like this. Oh yeah, that's...
Jeez.
Alright, Velen, I need you to make a dexterity save with advantage just because you've got one wall in front of you. The rest of you guys are pretty much protected and shielded. You made the right choice in getting in there. Oh, Velen. Oh boy.
I didn't have another turn until after his turn.
I know. He did give you one turn to get in.
That was barely enough because
if Tanner had been left out, he could have tanked that with his shield master thing.
Yeah, he probably could. It's a shame that Kashan doesn't care about my character.
Oh,
he probably thinks you're
best friends and all.
Okay, 1 second.
So about that collage room you spent time making.
20.
That's twice though, because he did it last time in the dry oasis as well.
You haven't got any resistances to fire, at least not to this anyway.
I have a ring of fire, but that's...
Yep. Yeah, against this guy.
This is...
He's basically an elemental adept plus, like Carius with his super lightning.
Just hope this doesn't outright kill you.
What? I do have quite a lot of health still.
You do. Okay, good luck. Godspeed. This is what looks to be a incredible eruption. The wall that it was in front of you, protecting you, pretty much just is obliterated and disintegrated. And the rubble that comes crashing into you is enough to knock you off your feet.
Laurel.
Boom.
I'm dead.
You're not. Oh wait, this isn't the. What is it? Sorry, 20. Should have been 20 d10. Not... 40.
Oh, okay. I'm like,
Okay, let me just delete that roll. It was supposed to be 20. Accidentally mistyped. Sorry.
that would definitely have outright killed me.
Oh, there you go. It's still not.
I think that still outright kills you.
Fucking hell. Oh boy, Llewellyn. Oh god. This fiery explosion is like nothing you've ever seen. It just sweeps across the entire room, uprooting the tiles, turning the place into a hellscape. And
I'm just seeing if I can see anything on your sheet which may or may not help.
This fire just washes over you. You are almost...
I purposely had a ring of fire equipped to save me from fire, but apparently that doesn't give a shit here.
Yep, this guy, yeah.
He has what is known as a metal. Yeah. It's a feat. He literally has a feat overcomes fire resistance.
Damn it.
Yeah.
You are charred. Completely charred.
Yeah,
this thing
blown
away.
I mean, at least it wasn't immolation which turns you to actual ash, because we might be able to get you back to life.
You are still there, but just completely charred.
Yeah, there was absolutely nothing I could have done about that.
Yeah, Cam, Llewellyn dead. Llewellyn's dead.
Llewellyn just got...
He got 146 damage.
That's what you get for that insect plague.
That is
oh shit, Llewellyn dead. Wait, is that outright?
Yeah, that's outright dead. That's over twice his HP.
Thanks, Kishan.
It's
not quite. 78 doubled 100.
For the walls, at the climax of this, you see
almost double
the
his
walls themselves
HP,
are shattered.
23 over.
So the bunker is no more, and you're left bare to witness the destruction of this. And we enter the final phase as this orb simmers down, leaving just this flaming portal in which from beyond you can see this elemental, this Afriti, steps forward. And Andy, what you would see is that spinning disc in the back, as it just sort of erupts and explodes, it pulls back and now forms into a visible portal into the plane of fire. And well, that's what you witness. Andy, you don't suffer any of these consequences, thankfully, being on the astral sea. You can tell something has just forcefully ripped a portal open, even here in the astral sea, from that extreme heat. It is Tanner's go.
Oh, thank you for saving me, Catman. I'm joking. I don't. I'm gonna hand him back over to you, Chris.
Okay. In that case, gonna run forward. Actually, can you get in range of this thing? Yeah. You could just get in range of this elemental and hit it as hard as you can. Okay.
Chris, could I have gotten Llewellyn?
You could get Llewellyn or Tanner, and you went for Tanner.
I didn't know that I could get Llewellyn. I didn't think I had enough movement for that.
Given enough, you would have needed more movement to get Llewellyn than Tanner.
Yeah, that's true. I think you would have just been out. I think he didn't have time because he only had like 60 left.
Okay, don't try and guilt trip me, you fuck.
No, Chris. Let him feel guilty. Let him feel guilty for what he's done.
Tanner is going to go for the hits on this guy. Let me just check if he's got any spell slots to do. Got Banishing Smite as well.
Banishing Smite? No, he has.
Oh wait, no, he hasn't. Sorry,
no,
he's not a high enough level for that.
Yeah.
We got Thunderous Smite. That could work. Yeah, we'll do that. Um, a strength save. Okay, the strength save fails. Gets knocked back 10 feet. As Tanner just rushes forward and slams into them. Oh, there it is. I don't know why it's rolling so late. It's very annoying. You know what? For that, I'll say that he doesn't take the actual D10 fire damage either, because of the way he's like pushed him back as he got hit, and then you just follow up with a spectral javelin as well. Yes, attack. Oh my god! I
that's
just rolled
a 13 on the dice. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he just crit with that. Nice. It's an extra D6. Yeah, that's how it's
What?
done.
I've
You rolled
never done that.
Oh, it's only one.
No, you did it once.
Only
I
one.
swear you've done that once. Or was that when I was controlling you?
Either way, he does unload onto this fire elemental. Because they've just turned.
Wow,
and both
min
the
roll
fire
on the
elemental-
crit though.
Yeah, I know. Both the elementals shift their attention and look straight towards you, Turpy. And this one charges in straight towards her and goes for 2 touch attacks. They're going to be... They've got to get through the mirror image first, so... Well, let's hope I roll above a 11, is it? Oh boy, that's not good.
It's above an 8.
It goes straight through.
It's above an 8 at the
Turpy
moment.
takes...
Yeah, it's above an 8 at the moment, then above 11.
'Cause she's got 2 left.
Oh, you're right. You're
6,
right. Whew.
6, 8, 11.
She
I believe.
dodges a second crit with mirror image. Incredible. And then the third attack. Gonna roll above an 8. And she makes it. So this time, instead of getting hit, the second image pops. And she's left with just one sort of blurry image of her. So she's doing a good job of protecting herself. It is Andy's go now. What you would tell now, from your perspective, that barrier that containing them, it looks like it's cracked. It looks like it's misshapen and buckling. You can tell that this guy's looking equivalent of bloodied, and that you've made at least some progress in freeing them.
And I can tell that something's happened outside as well, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
There's with this portal open, you can probably tell that it's looking bad for your friends.
She's gonna
can't
shout
see your
out towards what I'm guessing is like what she perceives as her sisters. She's basically gonna go, please, if you can do anything, I need your help. My family is going to die if I don't get you out. If I don't get back, I need your help. And she just like tries it again. She's gonna try this magic missile thing again with the violin instead of summoning the bow up like she's done previously. How many can I do at once? Can I just do one, or can I?
I think you can do, if it's always at always at 5th level.
Yeah, but there's
Let me just look at the starry cloak.
there's only so many stars, isn't there?
Yep. Let me just check.
I think there's 6.
So it casts it at 5th level, and you can do that.
Yeah, there's 6 stars.
It says you can use an action to pull off one of the stars, so you can only do
Yeah,
one
just one.
missile at a
Okay.
time. One
Cool, that's fine.
5th
one
level.
1/5
fine.
level, so it's 7 missiles,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
you only do one set of 7 at a time.
yeah. But she's pretty much begging these other muses to help her. You know, you got to try a little bit harder, please. You can get out, you know.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. Because again, although it doesn't look like you're necessarily doing damage to this thing, you are certainly disrupting him. And though he's not concentrating on anything right now, actually, that's a lie. He is somewhat concentrating on something. Huh.
Definitely not as bad as good
That's
as before.
as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Four, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so yeah, once again, everyone sees this creature kind of like keel over for just a brief moment, and the fire elemental that is attacking Euterpe is suddenly kind of like locked up and stunned. Almost as if these things are like extensions of himself in a way. And it doesn't look again like he's damaged, but he's definitely kind of been disrupted or disgruntled by something. He says, "What?" Probably in Ignan once again, like, "No! The divine flame was never meant to be split. The radiance is one." And I think
Just one
that's
with
it.
Andy.
Do I hear him say that? Do I feel him say that?
If you,
Considering I'm kind of next to this orb that's like a stomach sort of thing.
yeah, I
You
guess
do
you would
speak
hear it
Ignan.
as like
and I
an
do
echo.
speak Ignan.
You do speak Ignan, and yeah, you would hear it as like an echo, almost as if they're voicing it. But where it's discordant and echoed, you hear the actual reply, and you hear perhaps a feminine voice saying, instead, a complete contradiction to that, and says, "The divine flame must be free."
Ooh, I actually have a good response to him on my turn. Excellent.
Okay. It is the Vizier's go, and seeing the stunned elemental, it's just going to move away from that. Turn to the. Oh yeah, I forget to say the giant scorpion also got incinerated. That goes without
And
saying.
its spell would have dropped anyway with Llewellyn anyway.
Very true. Oh boy. The Vizier can deal with these elementals pretty easily now that he's got a line of sight on them. I think he's out of range for the other one though. 60 foot. Yeah, there's no way he can get to that thing, but he can target this elemental. He says, "Go back to the infernus you came from." That is actually a save. I mean, no, not a save. I mean, a fail. No, that works. The fire elemental that was pushing forward, you just see the Grand Vizier draw out a circle of fire, push it forward, and then pulls the elemental through the hoop, and he just simmers into a bit of smoke before you. And you see him still holding that kind of ring of fire in his hand. He's just holding onto it, concentrating. Don't say I didn't do anything this fight. Okay, that actually stopped his go entirely. And you see the Vizier concentrating on that banishment spell right now. It is Carius' turn.
Carius is going to look at Llewellyn, the burnt body, take a deep breath and go, "Well, if the divine flame is meant to be whole, that seems like a lie, because you said flames are meant to be free. So how about you split?" And I'm going to lightning bolt through this elemental and straight into him again.
Oh, wow, okay. All right. And this time, you're not heightening?
No, I want to save
Okay.
that for something.
Well, the fire elemental in front of you will auto-fail because he is stunned.
Yep.
So he just takes a
Ooh,
flat out 36.
that is a really good roll.
That was good. I'm gonna roll a dex save for him. At least I hope I will. Just gonna leave it for a moment because I think I've been rolling when it's automatically doing it. It's just delayed.
Yeah, for some reason there seems to
But
have...
yeah, you can see him clearly now, silhouetted by this flaming portal behind. Yeah, there.
made the save, but still.
It did make the save, and he's just like.
But that's still 18 lightning damage.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's like holding on to the end of it, and it's not going through him this time. He's like pushing it back with his own flame. Tries to shove it aside, but he does take some minor scorching on his hand, which he kind of flexes and shakes off. The one in front looks incredibly damaged, and it's shuddering as if it's about to sputter out.
In fact, with that then, you know what? 2 more sorcery points. I'm going to quicken. I'm going to reach into this one in front of me. And... yeah, let's go. I'm just going to basically reach into where a heart would be and try to shocking grasp it into non-existence.
Okay. Roll a hit with advantage.
Oh, with advantage. Let me
Yep.
roll that again.
Because Andy has stunned it up. Wow, that made a difference. So the effect makes kind of like keeling over and looking down at itself gives you enough of a opening to reach in and explode this thing. You do take a 1d10 of fire damage.
Which be
Which gotta carry.
halved? Or is this also because it's from his fire? Because I'm tiefling.
No, this is just from making a melee spell attack on it.
Yeah.
It's like it has fiery form.
Yeah.
Any melee attack.
Yeah, I'm just wondering whether it's half for me because I'm fire resistant, or if it's...
Oh no, you'd go straight through that.
Yeah,
Yep.
thought it would, but I was just double checking because I wasn't sure if these
Okay.
counted for that.
However, you did actually manage to do the exact amount of damage to
Yeah.
blast this thing out of the turn order.
Karis just
Well
looks at this thing and goes, "Guess what, big boy? You're next."
You may have smoked my minions, but now your bodies will be reduced to ash. Irina, it's... oh wait, I'm gonna do a legendary action. Shoot. That's...
I hope he hurls flames in that once again because that'd be hilarious.
wouldn't that be just hilarious?
It
No.
would.
Of course not.
Also,
needs to get-
actually, I just thought of something. You said I needed
Hmm.
to do at least 8 damage to that thing in front of me, right? Let me just check something. No, that wasn't it. Where's the thing? Half my sorcerer level. It would have taken 6 lightning damage just from me casting a spell near it.
Really?
Yeah, because
wow.
because when I cast a spell of first level or higher that deals
Oh, yeah,
lightning
you
or
got-
thunder damage, creatures of my choice take lightning or thunder damage equal to half my sorcerer level. So I pretty much broke that thing. It had like nothing
Yeah.
left, and I'm just like, die, because Karis is
Die.
not happy.
Okay. Let's... I don't need that sheet anymore. Don't need that either. Okay. Actually, you know what? He's gonna go for the Vizier. Try to get back his minion. That's a better rat. That's actually a really good shout. Yeah, do that. Okay. Don't miss this time, please. Oh, sorry, Turfy. Didn't mean to target you. Oh,
It
well.
missed him
Okay.
anyway.
Yeah, that's fine. That's gonna hit the Vizier though. He has Mage Armor up, but 14 is what he needed. So he takes 20 points of fire damage, and I need a con save from him, which he's got advantage. Well, he's not got terrible. Yeah, he's fine. He's fine. Okay, that's his go. Irina, your turn.
Yeah. So Llewellyn's dead.
Ellen's charred corpse lies on the ground.
You're not going to, are you? You can't do that. Don't you have to? I was just thinking. Yeah, I don't know. Can you do that?
That's a whole lot of words.
No, I can't. I'm not that quite necromancer.
Yeah.
I'm not
Oh my
quite
God.
there yet.
I thought you were about to like bind him as an accursed spectre, but I
I
thought.
considered it. I'm not gonna lie. I
But
could have.
don't they
praised
need to
him
be
as a
cursed
zombie,
for
but-
that?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
the other thing is, he also needs to take. He also just comes back as a zombie.
Yeah.
So that doesn't really. And technically, when he comes back as a zombie, it's Candlewick possessing him. It's not really him.
Yeah.
What I'm gonna do. Instead, what happens is Irina literally just screams really loud, and I need what's his face, the bastard responsible, to make an intelligence saving throw.
Okay, intelligence save. He's got quite a good save on intelligence. Oops, but I keep rolling and rolling and then not rolling. The guards failed and they're dead.
Says
Ignore those.
25.
They're not actually on the map.
But still half the damage, so that's another 13.
13 points of psychic damage to him. He does make the save though, unfortunately. That synaptic static is almost exactly the same width as the portal of flame. It's like you can see a it's like you can see a circle of flame sort of like warped suddenly and pulled in. But he does manage to resist it. Shrugs it
That's
off.
me done. I have no more spell slots. I'm out.
Okay. Yeah, stop with that. Stop. Go away. There we go. Okay. Alright, you terpies go. Why does it keep rolling? Oh, God. Stop rolling. Concentration. There we go. Alright. You terpies up. Ooh. Gonna run over to the villain. Oh dear. Has she got what I think she's got?
Yeah.
I like to think the eye on the book is still blinking.
Can't do that. Fuck. Okay. Says, has anyone got anything they can do?
Harris shakes
funny
his
enough.
head.
Tanner looks around and goes, now the elementals are dealt with, perhaps there is. But he sort of shakes his head as if saying like he doesn't have the power to bring back the dead, but it seems like he
Get
might
over
have.
there and try!
Yeah, Utopia is going to quickly. This is the being then. Kashan, take that thing out. Do what you can. And she's going to do a healing word. Actually, quite better than that. She'll do a cure wounds before she leaves, and then inspire you with a bonus action. And she'll upcast cure wounds to make it at least meaningful. And give you 1, 2, 3. She's going to go pretty high on this one. Plus her charisma. She heals. Oh god, the rolls on all that, but you heal for 18 something. I'm gonna keep you alive for one more hit, and she will inspire you as well. You've got this. Okay, and Utebi falls back. It's me. It's me. That thing wants. Okay, Kashan, it's your go.
I would like to rage. Am I actually even able to reach it?
You used your bonus action and a key, you could do it. I think. Yeah, so
But he's not legit standing on a ball of molten fire.
No, that should appear like a portal behind him now. So it's
Oh,
not
okay.
a wall of fire. But you can tell the rest of the palace is on fire, absolutely. But the ground around you has just been cracked and destroyed. You can probably see into the level below you, and this platform almost serves as a gangplank to him.
Well, in that case, I will spend a key and get up to its face. And I'm just gonna wail.
Okay. So I should make this clear as well. Like, with the floor being gone completely, when you jump towards him and attack him, there's nowhere to stand and make purchase. So you can still attack him and do those 2 attacks, but you'll need to find a way to stay aloft or land somewhere safely. Excuse me.
Okay, then I won't.
It's up to you. You can change your turn up if you want. I should have made that clearer. He's like hovering and flying there, and the floor beneath gone.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
Is this legit just a fall into nothing?
In which case, Kashan, with your movement, move to Carius, take his glaive, and fly over there.
I will allow that. That's totally. That's totally cool.
Yeah.
Yep, you can effectively do the same thing. In fact,
Yeah.
I got
You'd
a
have-
token.
To be
There we
fair,
go. All right.
I can
Got the
imagine
token.
that Kashan probably snatches it off
Yeah.
of you.
Carius doesn't even. Carius just sort of sees you coming, just sort of lets it go, and it's like rip him apart.
Nice. Okay, so you run forward after snatching this, leaping off of the gangplank here. That's the only tile of the palace left intact. Leaping off of it, land onto the glaive, surf forward, and then smack this guy and make some good hits. Might I add? The burst of flames that come off him, you feel, but fight through them, and you just take 10 points of fire damage. That leaves you on 40.
You'll pay for what you've done.
This. He says, well, nothing will matter once the element is combined. I might even be able to rewrite fate. It is any more, or is that your turn? You bonus action, haven't you?
Turn, yeah.
Okay, the Sultan's go. And he says, I think you've got it all wrong. Not to mention, aren't you out of wishes at this point, Altar? I think I was the one who spent them all up. And look where that got me. If I had a 3rd wish, well, I'd wish I hadn't made those other wishes. This deal has got worse by the month, by the year. And he steps up forward towards this creature. And says, how about a taste of your own medicine for once? And he's going to fire off his 5th level spell, Immolation, on this guy. You're probably wondering what? He's using fire on the fire elemental that's clearly immune to fire? He says, yeah, you're not the only one with fire so hot that it can melt devils. Take this, and it's just going to roll his big spell. Consume spell slot. Don't want to template this. It's just going to be a
Dex save.
dex save. Okay. What else can we do? I was about to say I can do something to make this disadvantage, can't I? No, I can't.
No,
Myself.
but you can take a D4 off of it.
Yeah, that's the one. Oh!
15.
His DC is 16, and he just rolled the 4 on his bend luck ability. He says, you want to see how you can bend fate? I'll show you. And he suddenly warps and twists his arms upside down as he launches this immolation. The Ifriti sees it coming, but then in midair, the spell kind of inverts. He kind of realizes the flames come from behind him and just erupt on his back. Even for a fire elemental, this fire is so hot that it actually overcomes his immunity and does half damage. Burns, doesn't it? You see him wincing and blistering and flailing around. That's going to do a nice whopping 86 fire damage. 30 damage. Nice. Halved, but it's getting there. Looks pretty damn injured from that. Alright. That is his go. It is the layer action. You know what? As he's spewing around, flailing, you see flames flying off of his body, landing in all kinds of directions, and I'm gonna leave a spattering of these things around. Where are they? Oh yeah, they're there. Okay. 1, 2. Let's roll for this real quick. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7. Okay. Roll this onto the turn order. Oops, not that. I've rolled the bottles on. Oh, god damn it. Excuse me. 1 second. Oh, man. There they are. So as he flails around, these flames erupt, land on the ground, and then begin sort of pulling themselves out, turning around with little tiny beady eyes, like burning candles. And as they stand up to full height, see they're kind of like small imps, but they're not devils. Definitely not devils. They're purely made of fire. 3, 5, 7. There we go. And these guys are now in the turn order. They seem to like spit fire onto the ground and then rush forward with little claws that are like iron pokers on the end of their fingers. And that's going to end their go. It is Altar. Okay, straight afterwards as well. Damn Clay. He's currently on fire as well. Good for him.
A weird situation for a pretty to be in.
Yeah, it is. Very odd. Kashan, I'm going to make some attacks against you, buddy. You're right in front of him. You're going to take the heat. 5 and a 6 ain't going to do jack. That's better. 23 to hit. And you take 20 points of fire damage as this thing conjures a flaming scimitar, grabs it, hacks straight through you. And looking pretty low. And at that point, your displacer cloak shimmers and then fizzles for a moment. It is Tanner's go. Well, he's got something to hit now. But he's not going to be interested in that, not whilst he's going to run over to Llewellyn. He needs to help him at least somewhat. It's you know what? Nope, change my mind. He needs to deal with these things after all. Yeah, he fires some spectral javelins. He knows what he can do for Llewellyn is afterwards. It doesn't need to be right away. Nice.
Also, still targeting Kashan then.
Sorry, Kashan. Yeah, that's alright. It's aberrant, latent magic. Magman explodes. Yep, it does. Okay, Tanner makes a dex save. So you launches a spectral javelin straight towards one of them. lands right between the eyes, and as it does, it explodes. And you see Tanner like get scorched by some of the flames, and he takes 2d6 fire damage. Ah. Little things are like walking bombs. He's gonna throw another javelin at this magman as well. Ooh, misses? Yeah, they're a little bit hopping around and they're harder to hit these things. But after that, he's gonna move 30 feet to here. That's it. It is Andy's go.
He's basically like, well, feck it. That doesn't seem to be working. And she's going to instead... She's putting the violin away for the moment at least. Where is it gone?
I will say, actually, now that that portal's open, you can actually see him standing at the precipice of it. It's almost like it exists within 3 different worlds. This portal overlaps the material, the fire, and the astral.
How far away is he from me?
He is 105 foot.
Okay. If that's the case, yeah.
You could get closer if you want.
Well, I can do this in 120 foot,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
am aiming it out at him instead. Damn, you're getting lower and lower, girl. So that's
Well,
what?
it's +6, so it's 21.
21, yeah.
That's good. Okay. It's a hefty amount of damage. Honestly, still, despite what you think, it's doing a lot. And everyone else, weirdly enough, sees from behind the flame, there's this patch of starry light, and then you see these stars fire through it and land right on his shoulder. Okay, and he doesn't look good.
Get me, you
Then
bastard.
He kind of like takes them and he's like, takes a breath and then turns in your direction, and he actually meets eye to eye with you, Andy. He says in Ignan, "There you are. You've been hiding in the stars." Okay. Anything else in your set, or is that it?
No. I mean, I can't add psychic blades to that. I don't think so.
That would be devastating if you could.
No, you can't, I'm afraid.
No.
That'd be terrifying. Awesome, though.
The Vizier
I
says,
mean, technically, well, because Sean's running, I can't really do sneak attack, can I? No, because it's a spell.
yeah,
not a physical attack.
right.
Damn.
The Vizier says, "I need these things off my back,
Yeah.
else we'll have another
Can
fire
I just
element
give
in our
Sean
hand."
bardic inspiration?
You could do, yeah, I guess you could do
There you
that.
go. There you go. Kashan, you got bardic inspiration.
Means he has
Have it.
2 uses of it, I guess. One from Euterpe, one from Andy.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you can.
Technically,
Yeah, well, we'll look it up afterwards. But for now, we'll say you got 2. Can't
I
remember
feel
if they
like
can be stacked or not.
I think you can't use them both on the same roll because that's a Bards Out of Hell special thing.
Yeah.
But this is a muse-heavy thing, so if you wanted to rule it in this case, Powers of the Muses, you know, the 7 muses, you know, powering the
We'll let
inspiration.
it fly for now. Only because it's 2 different sources. You can use them on separate rolls, though, I'll say. Okay, the Vizier does need to get rid of these Magmans. Just, he doesn't want to have to do this, but he's going to risk it. And he's just going to upcast a magic missile. Yeah, that was enough to kill it. But you see it explode once again. And he needs to roll that. Ooh, takes the damage. At least this wasn't on the con save. That's better. So he does take takes 9 points of fire damage. He's kind of blasted away slightly from this thing as the magma in front of him detonates from the magic missiles. it is the fire elemental who's banished. Can't do anything. Carries.
Right, Carius is going to slowly start walking. He doesn't need to do this. He's just going to slowly walk to here, closer. And as he's doing this, he's pulled out his freshly acquired bottle of water and has poured it onto his hands and begins rubbing his hands together. As a bonus action, I'm going to consume a first level spell slot to restore 1 sorcery point.
Okay.
And then I'm going to point at this guy and go, it's time, heightening this spell, so he will have disadvantage. It is time for you to go. And with that, we are going for this, because I don't have any lower level spell slots. We're going for, he may not have any enemies near him, but this is more powerful than doing it with that. And I am destructive wrathing that, so that's 80 damage and a disadvantaged dex save.
You just unleash the power of gods and anime on your side. Okay.
Yeah, Karen
Well-
literally just pours some water, seemingly eats a spell, and just uses that energy to basically just wreck this guy.
He turns, fires his own ray of fire towards it, fires his own beam, and there's this clash of lightning and fire that just collide, and the entire room is thundering and blinding from these two spells. As your lightning begins to overpower him, he pushes back with his last legendary saving throw. Yes,
Yep.
need to burn it here.
I know.
And pushes back, and you suddenly feel the heat right up against your face, and then you overcharge it with your divine channel divinity, and fire it through the flame, piercing like a lightning bolt should, straight through. And the water is that beautiful moment to like use it as like a conductor. Just fires through. The steam is still in the air. It still acts like a conductor, and it jumps through the molecules of water and finally makes its mark on this guy, who gets blasted back. You see his chest opened up from the impact, and these flames seemingly pour out. They're white as snow as they begin to float out of his stomach. He's like, no, pulling them back and trying to like hold himself together. You see his face cracking. He's looking really rough from that.
I do also have one other thing. Did he make a dex save at the end of his turn?
Oh, you mean for the
Immolation.
immolation? Yeah, let's do that. Quick. Oof. No, he didn't make it.
Which I believe
didn't
is
make
another
it.
4d6 damage.
Yep, it is.
I don't
And
know.
the Sultan's just like, burn. It'll teach you to question me. 14 halved, so he is still holding on. He is in absolute agony.
And then Carius just sort of looks to Irina. End this.
Not before I end this one. And he pulls a flaming scimitar out of thin air and tries to slice at Kashan with a quick legendary action. Not going
Right.
down without a... Not the glaive. You, Kashan.
Disadvantage.
No, because he
No, because
broke-
he has entered that and managed to get a clean cut.
but you're
across
still up
Kashan's
with
face.
2 HP.
2 HP.
I'll take
That
that.
healing that Euterpe put on you is holding you together. Okay, now it's Irina's go. Oh, well, not hesitating. I see. No nonsense. Oh, the first hits, but the other two seemingly tries to bat them away quickly with the scimitar that's still active.
Would that tip him over
So-
the scale?
No.
Is that not free charge?
Not. Charge doesn't matter.
Like explosions.
He doesn't take any fire damage.
Oh.
And yeah, he already mentioned that earlier. His soul is already ablaze.
Ah.
And you probably see Candlewick. You feel the heat, kind of just like a sinking, deflating feeling, almost as if, damn it. But you did do a little bit of damage, just a chip on his shoulder. Gonna be death by 1,000 blows. Euterpes up. This damn Magmins surrounding her. They're more of a nuisance, however.
Also, I just realised this Magmin is within 10 feet of me, so it takes 6 lightning damage just as an afterthought.
Alright, flinches. The Magmins aren't even going to get a chance to do their dirty work, are they? Euterpe is going to probably just shatter some of these Magmins out of existence. So she's going to move over here. Aim for this one and just blast it. I can assure you minimum damage is probably enough. It just has to fail a con save. Yeah. Alright, so yeah, she just blasts one Magmin out of the arena there. Okay. Yeah. End of Irina's go. I guess I'll use my last legendary action and try to stop Kashan from stopping me. This is all or nothing. He gets to take you out. Wait a minute. Where's the minute?
I'm
32.
I'm gonna die if I attack.
Alright. Gonna try it. Swing straight towards you with another on the left hand side. Scimitar
Because
connects.
it's my turn now.
It's at the end. This should have been the end of Irina's go. He's gonna take you out, and you fall from the glaive down into not the portal, but you fall down into the second floor. No, the first floor of the now burning Kibera temple palace. And I'm gonna say you take a death save as you land crack onto the other floor below you. And there's a sigh of relief from the Afriti, knowing that had you perhaps got to go, you would have maybe taken him out. Sean, you're one death save. And I need you to roll another death save at the start of your turn as well.
Oof.
Oh boy, Kishan's not looking good down there. You heard his body kind of thump down there as well. Didn't sound like a good landing. Okay, Magmins are up. They're going to do some dirty work on these creatures. They got a multi-attack. Oh, holy crit the Vizier. Just to try and break the concentration. See if he gets it. No, he's fine. He keeps holding that other elemental back at bay. Then we'll see if we can end immolation by hitting the Sultan. Nope, completely misses. You can just see the Sultan probably kick him away. Ugh, get off of me! You're a pathetic excuse for an elemental. And the other one next to you, Carius, yeah, comes up to you, just grabs onto your back and is like trying to claw at your throat. But it's so feeble.
Yeah, like Carius just sort of looks at him, probably just elbows it in the back, just like
He falls prone, I'll say, for that net one. You elbow him in the face and he falls down. Okay. I believe the Sultan goes before.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, he does too. Oh my god, he does. Yeah. He strides forward, probably taking a... No, I don't need to stride forward. I didn't even need to move. How much HP is down? Gonna have to really hit hard for this thing to work. But might as well. Well, I was waiting for that little furry guy to fall out of the way. Now I don't feel so bad about unleashing this. and he pulls his staff together with his hand and begins conjuring a small mote of fire, rises to the top of the staff, and then he bats it towards his friend back here. And as it reaches him, it suddenly expands and erupts into a tremendous fireball at 5th level, no doubt. He didn't hold back. I'm just going to move Kashan's body there. I'm going to go 5th level. He's been wanting to do this all combat. It seems. Oh my god! Boom! The blinding light just shines into your faces. The heat washes over your flesh, and you can only imagine what's being cooked on the inside. He did roll a dex save. Let's see what he gets. It's gonna take half anyway. I don't think it's enough. I don't know. Is it enough? The glaive rolled a nat 20. Good for the glaive.
Yeah, the glaive. Just like...
So dumb. He would fail, so he is taking what is effectively half damage from this.
So,
And
19.
19. Wait, where did his health go? He's on so little health, you can already see it. He's on literally single digits now. The flame bursts, threatening to blow him limb from limb. As that does, the orbs that were once inside of him, these motes of white flame, have floated around him, and they're just at the periphery. And he's like, no, can't end like this. And the Sultan's just can't believe he's still alive after that explosion. In fact, did I roll any ones? I don't think it matters. But...
You did, but I think it's taking into account it because
it is, yeah. I've made it so it's a copy of the sheet, and it re-rolled into a 6. So yeah, as powerful a blast as the Sultan could unleash at 5th level, and he's still barely holding on. He's like, the flame that you gave me, well, will be the one that unmakes you. There's no escape. That's what you think. And he's going to effectively fly straight through his portal that is already there, an open wound into the fire elemental plane, leaving behind the other motes that are still there. And I guess the only person who still sees this opening portal is Andy, because you're in the astral sea. But as he goes through, he is going to cast his... Afritis have this. They have their one use of plane shift per day. And he's gone. He uses his action to plane shift and close that portal behind him. The fireball
would he
dies down.
Does he begin casting that and then sort of move, sort of thing?
He has to cast it. Yeah, you have to cast plane shift.
Then I'm going to try it.
Wait, you're in reach.
It's
yeah,
60
feet. Okay, go ahead.
Counter spell. And I know I'm going to have to roll for this.
You will. It's a quick check.
It's like a 6th level spell.
7th level.
Oh,
DC
God.
17 charisma check. Oh my god. No.
Yeah, he goes to like close this portal, like open it, and I'm like, you're going nowhere.
Oh man. Damn.
I like to think that the way that this happens is just like a sheet of water like gets in his way.
Oh yeah, it just sears him with this steam. It's like he's blinded by it. Oh man, you pull him back. Pull him back from the brink. Which is the most would have been the most unsatisfying thing, to just have the bad guy get away. You turned it into the most satisfying thing in denying him the escape.
And he now needs to make a dex save.
Oh god, because of the immolation. It's still on him. No! No! Oh god!
Oh, he succeeds, so the fire goes out.
Does he take half?
No, I think I'm pretty sure with immolation it goes out.
Wait, I'm gonna bend luck. I
He'd
have
still
to- oh, no, I
succeed,
don't
wouldn't
even know.
he, even with a 4?
Yeah, it would. It would. Even with that. Oh, that's a shame.
Just a sec, let me just check something a moment, because I can never remember how Wild Magic Sorcerers work, because he might have one other thing he can do as well.
Ben luck. Tides of Chaos.
Ah,
Gives
no,
him
you can only
advantage.
use that to gain advantage.
Yeah. Tides of Chaos isn't going to help him in this instance.
Yeah.
Yeah, ends no damage. Right. So he sheds himself. It's almost like as he passes through that portal for a brief moment, the flames that are on him are like ripped off and sent away. But the bad news is he hasn't got any. Well, good news for you, in other words. Bad news for him is he's used his action. He's used his plane shift, and you've effectively
Yep.
closed that portal behind him.
And the other thing is, it's Andy's turn next.
It is Andy's go next. Oh,
And
dear.
Andy has something that doesn't miss.
Yeah. I think it's all ogre.
Yep. She's squaring up the astral bow, and she just cries out, and she just shouts out, "Die in the pits of frozen hell, you motherfucker!"
Good.
And she's, she's still got it, so she can still do this.
Yeah. And with that,
27 damage.
describe to me how these missiles turn him into nothingness. You want him to
I would
explode.
imagine if they actually make a final kill, it's almost like the body itself ends up turning into stardust.
Oh.
It's almost like they just kind of end up cracking and breaking and poof.
Yeah.
Very
he's not
labyrinth
going-
shower of glitter.
Yeah.
Labyrinth shower of glitter.
Can I say one thing that seems like potentially like as an added bit of flair for this is obviously it's Andy again, and she's been channeling these muses. What if each of the magic missiles in the end just looks like a miniature representation of one of these muses? So it's literally like them punching through it for the final blow.
Yeah.
You read my mind there, James, because I was actually also going to add that as well. The missiles that fly forward from Andy's bow then effectively are caught by the 7 orbs that were floating there that pulled away from him, and as they kind of connect, they empower them and they fly towards him themselves. It's like the captives suddenly become the attackers, the liberators, and they all fly straight into the now effectively erupting red skin of this Afriti, and as it cracks and begins to split, it erupts into that starlight, shedding and splitting all of the orbs and just sending this glittering glittering explosion in all directions. It is strangely beautiful in this moment as the flames are dying down. But
Ashes to
you
ashes,
just hear the last,
dust to stardust, I suppose.
yeah, from flame to radiant. I return. And he just disperses once and finally for all eternity. It's
The
almost
ma-
as like that flame was something extra. That fire from that Afriti was almost like a soul enchanted by fire. And it's the fire of fate has been sort of sent back out into the world and into the cosmos. And indeed, what you would see is those stars, those weird orbs of white flame, they don't fly into the material plane, they fly out into the astral sea, which is farther reaching and basically an infinite possibilities of where they could go or where they could end up. And as they kind of split, you can't even count just how many there are. You could hazard a guess that to begin with there was about 7, and then 8 including you, and then 9 if you count Euterpe. And as these 9 orbs just fly and flare out, they fly every which direction, except for perhaps one of them. and that one flies straight through the portal that was closing from the plane shift, and flies into the material plane. And we'll come back to that one in a minute. But for now, all you see is it kind of arcs over the balcony and perhaps landing somewhere in Gaidia.
We'll let you know it has gone 10. I do need to go to bed very soon. I have got to
think
go to
that's-
work tomorrow.
I think that's
So
a good place to end it anyway. On that note, on that one last part, as one of these arcing stars flies out, we will end tonight's session. And Andy, you feel this energy as it's been released. Your own light feels free. Your own mind feels free from this horrible fate that you would have to have returned to. And Andy, you level up at the end of this. You finally get that level up as you feel the vindication for those muses have perhaps been stolen away. Now they are free. Free to inhabit new bards and spread more inspiration throughout the world. So there you go. Thank you very much for watching. We are going to sign off here. And tune in on... Are we going to stream Session 0? I don't think we'll stream Session 0 on the Witchlight. But we are going to be doing Session 0 on Sunday. And then the following Sunday, so on the 3rd, we are going to be beginning a new campaign, Wild Beyond the Witchlight, fantastical Feywild adventure, and a carnival to explore. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then on the 4th, we are back with What Lies Beneath.
So, bye-bye for now. Thank you for watching.
I realise my camera keeps blurring